Welcome
Hola.
everybody to the Lexit War Room. We have a special guest. You guys, it's gonna blow your mind. With the OG, the Latin King of comedy himself, the undisputed champ. Look at he's my favorite comedian of all time. Paul Rodriguez, right here in the flesh. We got him, you guys. Woo! Thanks for
What's
coming on,
up?
bro.
What's up?
It's me. My all those things.
Bro, so my first question
on?
for you is, how have you been doing during the Rona? How has the Rona been treating you, and how's everything going? How's that?
Well, I'm the worst thing about the pandemic is the boredom. I'm a very busy guy, but this new playhouse with Rita Rudner, we were sold out. We were getting great reviews. We went to Broadway. Is my last thing to do. I've done everything else but Broadway.
Hello.
It's freezing up a little. Paul, if you can hear us, you froze up. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Hello, Paul.
I know he's saying something funny.
Yeah.
It's the Democrats. It's the Democrats. The Democrats.
Huh. All right. So I guess we're waiting for him to come back. A-Rod, just go ahead and talk about our trip to Washington.
Yeah, real quick. So we had an awesome trip. We all went to DC. All three of us, the whole Lexit team went. Majority Lexit team went. It's actually a really awesome experience. Latinos, blacks, browns, minorities. We packed the White House, and it was amazing. We did March for Life. We backed the blue. So check this out. So when we were out there, Mario, real quick, tell them about that experience that happened with us when we were we went live with that Australian news station.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, so we're walking back from the rally, and this camera crew stops up, and they're from Australia, and she says, "Hey, were you guys at the rally? Would you mind if we ask you a couple questions?" So it's myself, A-Rod, and OG Bam, and they start asking us questions, and I just happened to be up third, and so I think I was talking about how it's every American's right to be able to assess risk, right, and act accordingly, which is what we do with everything in life, right? Whether you want to drink too much and you drive, you're going to have to live with those consequences. And so I'm sharing that, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, somebody just jumps in like right from the corner here, and I'm like, whoa, everybody turns around, and she says, well, see, what you just said, that makes me feel uncomfortable because you're putting my life at risk. And I'm like, well, first of all, then back up, because you're like all up in my grill right here, right? And she said her rationale was, I'm okay because I'm downwind of you, or I don't know what she said. I was like, so that's how you're gonna be protected. And so anyways, man, we went back and forth a little bit, and what was crazy, she's got a BLM hat on. A-Rod said something really important. He said, what's more important to me is, would you go on the other side of the park right now, and for all those people that are gathering for BLM, would you be as aggressive with them? And it's probably not, because it's the reason you're here in our grills because we have red hats on, which we all had our MAGA hats on. And as she walks away, she says, well, I hope you all die. Right on camera. And A-Rod was just like, he literally goes, I told you. And you closed it well, bro. So well that there was a gentleman there right behind me that was watching, black guy, and he had a BLM shirt on. And by the time you finished talking about us not being able to just, as adults, right, respectfully agree to disagree anymore, right, he finishes, and my wife tells me later, the whole time that you're talking, he's going like this. I turn around, he puts his hand out to shake my hand. And then he shakes your hand, and he was just feeling what you were saying. But man, what a crazy situation, because I wish you die. Like, what is the deal?
Yeah, just because we couldn't agree, the first thing she says is, I hope you guys die. And I'm thinking to myself later on, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, you have a white liberal telling 3 Latinos from California that she hopes that we die, and that's not racist. We just had the president of the United States invite over 2,000 minorities, and he's racist. To me, it just blows my mind. I'm like, man, if the news isn't leading this whole sheep into this ideology of everybody believing that you have to vote Democrat if you're black and brown, and you have to follow people that are the same skin color as yourself, that's true slavery of the mind. And we need to come away from that, you guys. It was awesome. So, Jess, do you have a good story?
Yeah, it was just a great time. But no, check if Paul's backstage if you're hearing this. No, but yeah, it was great. It was just a great old blessing to be at the White House with so many Latinos and blacks. Imagine that. That was the left's worst nightmare. And not only was it so many Latinos and blacks, there was like me, fellow. I knew several ex-gang members that were even all there. To me, it was just so awesome that they try to. And then imagine even the fake Mike, a friend of mine. He had his little daughter, right? And she don't really know that much about politics and stuff like that. But he showed her, he's like, watch, I'll show you that how the left is. So as soon as they left, they put on the media, because watch, I'm gonna put on he put CNN, and they were saying, bashing Trump, saying that he paid them and just all kinds of stuff.
Crazy.
And he was able to show his daughter. He's like, look, you see how the fake media is, how they lie and all of that, and they were just like amazed, bro.
Right.
What's crazy is my wife was tripping because she's like, I knew fake news was real, but I lived it, right? It was a couple hundred people out there. No, it was a couple thousand people out there. They paid us to be there. No, that's not true either, right? Oh, nobody had masks. Man, I haven't worn a mask so much in the last 8 months than I did that weekend. They were walking around on us, right? And it just one thing after, and then they post the article. She saw one on BET. They post an article on BET online, and they don't even use the real picture. It's a fake picture. It's not even the right rally. And she was like,
"Are you kidding?
This is insane." Yeah, it was a different picture.
Wow.
She was like, "I just lived fake news."
That's hilarious, bro. No, yeah, man. The whole time.
If there's anybody on here from the team, Patty or Becky or somebody, give Paul a call. See if we can help him get in.
Yeah, I don't know, Patty.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That DC trip was awesome to see Latinos. Okay, so real quick, because I know Jesse won't talk about it. So Jesse invited a friend that he grew up with, another person that was locked up with him in youth authorities. They were locked up in YA, and they pretty much ran the streets together, locked up together, and he had a picture of both of them while they were locked up, right? And then he has another picture of them while they were at the White House. Now,
I posted it, bro. I posted it on the Lexit page a little while ago.
Okay, think about this. The biggest things minorities ever say in videos you've ever seen, and movies we've seen since we were growing up, is little Chicanos or little blacks and browns looking up and be like, see the White House say? Like, I'll never be able to go there. Or, no, the white person will never invite us there. You got to be, I'm telling you guys, Donald Trump invited ex-gang members that pretty much came from their ways and turned around and changed their life to the White House. That is exactly what we've been asking for years. And the only time we ever see it happen is on movies, and it happened this past weekend. And I mean, if that doesn't blow your mind, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so great, man. It was a great experience. Yeah, that just shows, bro, that how cool Trump is, and all that. That's why that old narrative is getting old now, bro. It's just getting so ridiculous now. Give me a break. Yeah, he's a racist, but he has a full of blacks and Latinos right there, and the speech he gave was just terrific. And always, it was just a blessing. I mean, I had seen people in there, most people, even Patty, crying, bro, that it was like once in a lifetime. Even all the people
surreal
that I invited, yeah, they were like, it was like such a blessing, bro. It was like beyond words. To me, it was like one of the best experiences because I've been in the White House several times, but usually when I go, it's just me. Like I can say the best time is when I was there and I met the president and stuff like that. But other than that, all the other times I went, this was way better. It was the best to me to have all you guys. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I go usually by myself. It's okay, yeah, about the White House, whatever. But it was a blessing that I had all you guys. My whole team was there. And then just even I invited some other friends too or whatever. So it was just like a total blessing to me, bro.
What's cool though is the work that you're doing with Lexit, Jesse, and it's definitely a God thing because God is leading and opening doors. I didn't even tell you yet. On the flight home, we stopped over to change planes in Dallas, and I was talking to a couple of guys, Dick Cameron, some of the dudes there, and somebody walks up to us, and she had the mask on with the presidential seal, and she's like, "Hey, I just want to tell you guys, we're so thankful you guys came out. It was such a great weekend." So she was just pumped, right? So we're talking to her, and she goes, "So where are you guys at? Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm from LA." And she's like, "What? Where at?" And I go, "Well, it's called the Inland Empire. It's a little bit, east of Los Angeles, but most people don't know where it's at." She goes, "Oh, I'm from Chino Hills, right?" So she starts talking, and I go, "Oh, my wife and I were with Lexit." And she goes, "Jesse?"
Right.
I go, yeah, Jesse. She's like, "Oh my gosh." And she was so pumped up. I'm like, man, it's so crazy to see how God is leading you in this movement, man, because there's so many people. I actually had another guy on Facebook when there, it was a lot, obviously Blexit put the event on and they graciously invited us to come out. He was talking and he said, "Man, I think it's time for a Hispanic or Latino."
There he is. There he is. Hold
There
up.
we
He's
go.
back. The man is back.
We need to have an Asian guy with us here that runs this electronic stuff,
Well, go ahead and jump on your question, Ara.
No, yeah, he told
All right.
brother. I see the Rona hasn't been too good because it cut us off, bro. So but tell us, you were talking about the stuff you were doing during the Rona, bro. So what you get up to?
Well, the pendejo pandemic is actually I've always been
China
first,
virus.
I actually had it in New York last summer.
Wow.
I was filming a movie called Clifford the Big Red Dog. It'll come out Thanksgiving.
Oh, right on.
And I got it over there. I didn't know I had it. I didn't know until I got tested over here, and the nurse said that I had it. I had the antibody, so
Wow,
I had
that's
the
crazy.
COVID. I had the COVID-18, I guess. And
You had it early.
I've always been Christopher Columbus, and this is my lot in life. But it was pretty hard, But hey, I'm glad I didn't know it was that deadly, because it would have panicked me. I just treated it like any other catarro,
Yeah.
I blew my nose, but it was one of the worst catarros I've ever had,
Hey, yeah, you would have probably been stressing out, and the stressing that makes it worse. Your immune
Yeah,
system.
and I'm the right demographics. I'm 65, barely alive, and I probably would have been pushing daisies now. But I don't know. They say only the good die young. Maybe I'm an asshole,
Right. That's funny. So, brother, before we get into all
That
the
definitely gives me some. Go ahead.
There's a reason.
Before we get into all the questions, bro. So, tell us a little bit about your background, like a little bit about your upbringing, before we get into some of the specific questions. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my father. I was born in Culiacan, Sinaloa, a place that's famous now because of Julio Cesar Chavez and El Chapo. And actually, I'm related to the latter. And my father brought us out of Sinaloa. I've always said that he took us out of there because he didn't want us to be rich. So he brought us to America. My father was a religious man, and we traveled. We were migrant farm workers. My father was a harvester of souls, and tomatoes and anything the San Joaquin Valley grew. And he had an accident. A tractor ran over him, and his back was severely damaged. So we had an aunt that lived in Compton, and that's where my father settled down. And I grew up. Most of my my teenage years were in Compton. It was very difficult, a lot of pandillas, a lot of gangs, fighting with the brothers all the time. And I met a lot of friends, a lot of black friends, but it was hard, because we were the first Latino family there, the first Mexicans there, and I could prove it. I went to Ralph Bunch middle school, and I was the white guy in my school. That's how black I was, because I'm brown, and I was representing it. I went to the football team. They made me the kicker. And,
of course.
Actually, the coach and all the fellas, they took care of me. You know, the coach used to say, "Y'all leave Rodriguez alone. He's our racial diversity." They got a few dollars on me, you know, and but it was rough. You know, I was there for all the riots. I was there for the riots of '63, which was caused by a cop killing a black man who was handcuffed to the back seat of a car. That he probably was resisting. Nothing has changed really, and it's pretty rough growing up with all the gangs. You know, many years later, I did a HBO special live from San Quentin, and it was like a high school reunion for me. You know, about everybody I knew was there. You know, I was walking in the yard and I met so and so. They said, "Rodriguez, man, what are you doing here?" I said, "I'm doing a TV show." And he said, "Yeah, brother, we're all doing TV shows here." And, it taught me a lot. You know, Compton is a small little city that's probably predominantly Mexican now, but at the time it wasn't. It's a small little city that has had a world impact on the world through music and dress. You know, but I got to tell this to my black friends that you know, you see Snoop Perro with the low rider and the Pendletons and the baggy clothes. That's raza. We started that. Of course, we don't get credit for it. What's new? But we started wearing the baggy outfits and the Pendletons because the truth is that clothes, those clothes probably belong to your older brother, you know, and they were hand me down. And mom wasn't gonna. We weren't trying to make a fashion. Mom wasn't gonna reduce them because she'd go, "You're gonna be gordo. You'll grow into it," you know. And it turned out that we were making a fashion statement. I was in Japan not too long ago, and there's a segment of Japanese people who enjoy dressing like Mexicans. You know, look it up on YouTube. That's
I see.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're also
huge.
in Thailand. You know, they like the cholo, the dress. We didn't know we were starting a fashion statement. We're kind of embarrassed of our baggy clothes. I remember I used to put on some cross countries, the cheap tennis shoes, and the Pendletons in the middle of summer, long sleeves. You know, you were either a heroin hypo or you were wearing your father's shirt. And, but I look back at it, you know, the bandana to keep the sweat off of you. It turned out to be a firme look, you know, with the
right.
We have had an impact in the world. And the African Americans didn't do it by themselves. There was a show called The Streets of Compton, and I was representing, and I told all those vatos, you know, hey, pardon me, but we had a lot to do with the look. The lowrider, that's totally Mexican. Blacks used to use their favorite car back then, in my day, was a deuce and a quarter, which is an electric 225, you know, and they like to ride it, but we used to lowride. Again, we weren't doing it for put a statement. We probably had relatives in the trunk. We went to the drive-in.
Sneaking in.
But we were the accidental shift shapers. You know, Raza has done a lot for the culture. Unfortunately, we never get the credit. You know, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing we get credit for is the bad things, like Corona. They named it after us, and El Niño. You know?
Even though it came from China.
Exactly. You know. But we don't get credit for the good things. But I'm here to tell you that I've always stuck up for Raza. And, you know, I was the first one on the networks to use the word vato. And, órale, le dije yo al Merv Griffin. And I got a lot of help for that. You know, first time I did the Tonight Show, I came home and I told my mom, "Did you see me?" I told my dad, "Hey, did you see me?" He goes, "No." I said, "What time did it come out?" I said, "About 1:45." He goes, "Get a show during the daytime. Nobody's watching that, you know." All decent people are asleep. They don't know what the Tonight Show was. And but I've always been first. For some reason in my whole life, I've always been first. I was the first one in the United States Air Force air crew. And I'm proud to be a veteran. 6 years. I didn't run off to Canada. I didn't go to Mexico. This is my country.
Yes.
Nice.
No. You're gonna go. And I was scared, you know, the war in Vietnam was going on. But 6 months after I was in, the war ended, thank God. But I've been to Vietnam. Of course, it was last year. And, you know, I've been to a lot of war areas. I've been to the Middle East. I've been to Detroit. But I've been to Baghdad. I've been to all those places, you know, entertaining the troops. I've been there, I think, more than anybody else. I've been there like 8 times, you know, for the USO. There's a lot of raza in the service, you know.
Right.
That's another thing that we never get mentioned. Latinos, Mexican Americans, we have contributed and continue to contribute to this country, but unlike other races, we will mention. We basically do our work quietly, go home, and do what's important is raise our kids. You know, we raise our kids, we work. That's the only kind of life we know. Me, I didn't follow that migrant farm working life or the exemplary life that my father and my mother lived. But I did buy them their ranch. You know, it's every Latino's dream to buy their folks their own farm.
Nice.
So I did that. You know, I don't need no Oscar. I don't need no Emmy or none of that. I consider the day I gave my mama the deed to her farm and my dad, the tears of joy they got, that means more to me than any other accolade I could ever get.
That's awesome.
Right.
Go ahead, Mario.
Go ahead, Mario. Ask a question.
Yeah. Well, Paul, first off, I just want to say thank you so much for your service and for stepping up and answering the call, because, you know, there's a lot you mentioned it, you know, I was scared, of course, but, you know, you step up, and I just don't think there's many in this generation, these youngsters now, that even have the guts to do that. And so, nah, man. So,
you know, every time I hear these political pundits, these people talk about what America should do, where we should go, who we should attack. They should just be quiet, because unless you worn the uniform and you've taken an oath to protect the Constitution of this country and you believe in the ideals of this country, you should just be grateful to those who are wearing that uniform and just keep your thoughts to yourself. You've not paid the price.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that you have to be in the military to be patriotic. There's a lot of other ways to be patriotic, but I'm saying I have special love for a lot of my contemporaries who lost their lives, you know.
Right.
The first movie I ever did was DC Cab, and we were filming it in Washington, D.C. while they were putting the Vietnam Memorial. And when you see names of people you knew, and you see the great waste of life, 55,000, many Latinos, totally decorated. Paul Valadez and Sonny Jimenez and people like that you knew. And you say to yourself, what a damn shame, because there's 55,000 people that shouldn't be dead. You know, we were fighting the Vietnamese, and today you can go there. You know, it was a wasted lives, because they kept telling us that the domino theory, if Vietnam falls and all these other countries are going to become communist pretty soon, America will be the only country. That's the lie they told us to waste American lives. And who dies? The same people that die in all the wars. The poor. Not black, white, brown, the poor. Poor kids who didn't have the money to go to deferment to Princeton, you know. I feel sorry for them, because they should be alive today. They should have children today. They should have the same life. They should have the right to grow old like I am, you know. They don't talk about that. All I can say is that in memory of their lives, we should remember not to jump into any war just because the military industry needs to sell more jets and more arms. You know, I believe in this country, and I believe we should have a strong military. But I also believe that the people in charge should be very careful how they use lives, you know.
Yeah,
because if there's one thing that's true, the Marines, I don't know what the numbers are, but I got 6 nephews who are in the Marines, and some of them are in the Air Force. We're very patriotic. We love this country, and we're willing to put our lives on the line consistently.
Yeah.
Never get the credit.
Well, you know, it's a great point. I think it's interesting to know that there have been no wars under President Donald Trump, which is key. But tell us how did you become, you know, Republican, or how did you start leaning that? I heard you tell a story about when you told your mom and dad you were thinking about becoming a Republican. Share that with us.
Well, how I got involved, I was apolitical, and I paid a heavy price, but I'm willing to do it again. I I bought my folks a ranch in the San Joaquin Valley outside of Fresno. And one day my mama calls me and she tells me that they're cutting off the water. Now I'm thinking this is just a question of paying the bill, the water bill.
Yeah.
It turned out to be an 8-year struggle fighting the Democratic Obama administration to get water to flow again because they wanted, the environmentalists wanted to protect the smelt, a little fish in the swamp of San Francisco. This little fish had more rights than 12 million Mexican Americans who make their living out of harvesting crops. Well, all of a sudden, again, I found myself at the forefront of this. And I went to Sacramento. And at the time, Arnold Schwarzenegger had been elected. So the people around Fresno, and I wasn't the only one, they figured I'm a celebrity. So Arnold's a celebrity. They said, oh, go talk to him, I said, I don't know if I can talk to the guy. We both don't know how to talk English all that well. I said, we might need an interpreter. But the more I went over there, when I went to all the Democrats, who a lot of them I had actually done shows for, they didn't want to see me. They said, go back to Hollywood. You don't know what you're talking about. This water thing, it's not necessary. This water thing is we got to keep the endangered species and all of that. And I said, if a fish live, and by the way, these weren't in danger. I mean, if there was only so many, we would have found a way. This little fish had more rights than families who were going hungry.
Right.
The first people to suffer when it comes to migrant farm working are Raza, because, people say about Cesar Chavez. I knew Cesar Chavez. We broke bread together. We were friends, more than just casually.
Wow.
He came on my show on Telemundo, when I was on Univision. He came on twice. The second time is one of the reasons why they canceled my show, because I was told by some sponsors he was going to announce the grape strike. And they said, Paul, if you have this man on, we're going to lose our sponsors. And I said, well, I guess we're going to lose our sponsors because there's no way that I'm going to tell Cesar Chavez that he can't be on my show.
Right.
I mean, this is how I roll once.
That's integrity.
It's easy to be somebody's friend when they're successful. But when they need you, that's when you prove your friendship. And Cesar Chavez, who I admire, I remember asking him, I said, Cesar, I will live to see the day when there will be schools named after you, streets named after you. How do you feel about that? Cesar Chavez told me, he said, I would give that up if they would just fix the potholes on the street I live on now. He was a humble man. United Farm Workers, unfortunately, have lost their way. They're totally in the Democratic pocket.
Definitely.
They're not even in migrant farm working anymore. They're to radio stations and making money. I got nothing against making money, but Cesar Chavez made that union so that they could have hospitals and protect the rights of these migrant farm workers, many of them undocumented, to help them become citizens and all of that. That's what the original UFW was about. They're not that anymore.
No.
So obviously you kind of got through into it. You've seen a lot of things that, it just started leaning towards that one direction. But if you recall, there was the guys wanted me to have you share it when you said you sat down your mom and dad and told them that you were thinking about.
I don't need to tell you this. 99 of Mexican Americans are Democrats the same way we're Catholics. It just happens. You're born into it,
Yeah.
So my parents weren't Catholics, but I always wanted to be Catholic because if there was a hell, I wanted to be where all the Mexicans were going to be. That certainly wasn't going to be heaven in my mind. I wanted to be where the action was. Where the raza, where the pretty señoritas were with the hoop rings and the big old fondues, las fine hyenas. That's where I wanted to be. And if it's hell, oh well, I've lived in El Paso. I know what hot is. So I remember telling my folks, I said, Ma, I don't think what these people are doing. The first thing that turned me on about. And by the way, let me just say this: I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm here to say, actually, being an independent is the way to go. Sometimes I will vote for a candidate if he's Democrat, if his philosophies are for the betterment the raza for us, right? But I found out that Ronald Reagan said something very truthful. It stuck in my mind. He said that most Hispanics are Republicans. They just don't know it because we are very conservative. We believe in family. We believe in the right to life. We believe in small business. We believe in less government. Now, when you explain that to them, the Democratic Party is not the party. They don't espouse your philosophy. We believe that you come to America not to get on welfare. You come to America so that your children would have not a guarantee, but an opportunity to do something to better themselves. You know, there's no guarantees. Someone that is loyal to the ideals and the Constitution of this country. You know, I am a constitutionalist. I believe that because of 9/11, our Constitution had been diminished. We were asleep at the wheel. They've taken many of our rights, you know, and I think we should fight for them back. We believe in smaller government. We believe in the Second Amendment, not because I'm a violent person. In a perfect world, there should be no guns. Mm-hmm. But guns do exist. And to take the guns away from law-abiding citizens is dumb, because criminals are going to have guns. That's why they're criminals. You know, every time I see one of these signs that says a gun-free zone, they might have just well put another sign there. Hey, come and rob us. You know, nobody's going to come here. It's stupid, right? I believe that the founders of this country, the Constitution, the founding fathers knew what they were talking about. You know, I'm not talking about walking around like a cowboy with a gun, although the right to carry should never be taken. But I believe that every one of us should have a gun at home.
Amen.
The only reason why the police knock on your door is because you got a gun.
Yep.
The day they know you don't have a gun, they're not going to knock.
Man,
Zapata,
that's fire right there.
General Zapata, a great philosopher and a humble man, he told Madero. Madero says when Madero wanted to take all their guns, and he said, "Hey, Zapata, we won the war. Disarm your men." And he took his 45 and he said, "Let me have your watch." Madero got scared and let me have your watch. Gave him his watch. He goes, "If I didn't have this gun, you wouldn't give me that watch. And it's because I have a gun that you gave me the watch." Do you get my point? The point is that the citizens of this country should have the right to overthrow this government if need be, and to support this government if need be. Now, because I'm a Trumpist, people think that I believe in militias or that I forgot where I came from. Nothing can be further from the truth. It is because I remember where I came from. I don't want to turn this country into that country.
Exactly.
That country is lawless. Exactly. You know,
corrupt,
I love everything about being a Mexicano, but do I love Mexico? No. You know, my father used to say this. He goes, if Mexico would have loved us, we wouldn't have left.
Right.
Mexico didn't love us. We're here in America because we wanted to be free. We wanted to be able to think. We wanted to raise our kids and believe in whatever God we want to believe. We want to be able to leave this country to our children. And the country we're leaving them is not the country that I first found. You know, when I was a kid, you respected newsmen. You know, I was a newspaper boy in San Pedro, California for a couple of summers. I remember folding that paper in 1969 when it said, "Man lands on the moon." A lot of idiots who say, "Oh, you know, it was all fake. You know, they did it over here in Palm Springs." You know, let me tell you something. My father used to believe that we never landed on the moon. It wasn't until he heard Walter Cronkite say it. Walter Cronkite had the respect. When Walter Cronkite said something, I said, "Hey, Dad, you know, we did land on the moon. Walter Cronkite said that." My father said, "Walter said that? Then I guess we did land on the moon." The point is, they had credibility because you knew Walter was not in the hands of some Procter and Gamble or some special interest group. You know, Walter Cronkite told it like it was. You know, we don't have that today. We have news people who are there. They're not news people anymore. They're there with an agenda. They're there to sell soap. They're there to sway you. They're there to do fake news. to lie. Look, I've been to Baghdad. I've seen what a bullet does to a human being. I've been there. I've seen that, and they don't report that. They don't want to see our young men who have lost their lives on TV. These boxes coming out. That's precisely what we should watch, because it is only till you see a mother who's lost their child in the defense of this country, the heavy price they pay. It is only then that we should all commiserate with that. You know, people say that this was a relatively cheap war, that only about 5,000 died in this Iraq war. That's 5,000 too many, because
Right.
First of all, we didn't go in there because those people were threatening us. It's all they brainwash you. We killed over 1 million Iranis who look just like us. You don't believe me? Look at Saddam Hussein and Vicente Fernandez. Tell me they don't look exactly alike. You know, they're killing brown people because we're expendable. You know, I'd like to see them try to do that to any West African country. Although it's a bloody mess. I've traveled the world. I've been to Africa. I've seen hunger and injustice. What I'm here to say is, I lost a lot of public. By the way, my show is not it's not political at all. I'll make you laugh. You know, that's what I do. But right now it's not the time. There's a time and a place for everything, as the Bible says.
Right.
Although I'm not really all that biblical, I have read it. What I'm saying here is, you know, what my very best friend, Mark, very best friend, lived together for 8 years, raised our children together. He doesn't talk to me because he calls me a Trumpster. Because
Right.
I won't agree to what he espouses to. We're not friends. Well, so be it. Now, I'm not trying to convince him to my point of view. What I am saying is, the reason I wore this uniform is so that you can think freely. The problem with the other is this. It used to be in America that you fought fervently and hard for your candidate. But the next day, after no matter who was elected, whoever was elected, we united, and that was our president.
Yep.
Those are the rules. Nowadays, people are saying, "Oh, well, if he wins, I'm going to move, or if he wins, I'm going to try to straddle, impeach him, try to everything away." That's not the democracy.
Sore
Not
losers.
democracy. Nope.
Sore losers.
The people vote. I'll tell you this. They won't say this, but I'll say it. If Joe Biden becomes president of the United States, you know what? I will salute the office, and he will be my president for 4 years. The next 4 years, I'm going to try harder to put my point of view. This is how things are done.
Right.
Should be done.
These idiots on the other side, they believe that unless you think like them, you walk like them, you believe in them, then you're not American. Well, I'm here to tell you that nothing could be more un-American than to be a mental case and to just follow. Look, this Constitution of ours is a blessed, sacred document. It is the only one that allows us the freedom to disagree and not be worried that some night shirts is going to come and kill you in your bed. Look at how many countries in Africa and Latin America, how bloody their elections are. I don't want that here in America. We should be able to disagree, and our friendship should have anything to do with us. But it's unlike any other election. This election has been so divisive. It's scary. It probably scares me. It'll probably cost a civil war. You know, no side is going to admit that they won. They're going to try to say, well, you know, if President Trump should win, the other side's going to say he stole the election. He's a dictator. If Biden wins, I hope President Trump will be love this country enough to say concede defeat after it's proven. But you don't know what to believe nowadays. You know what I'm saying is we should love this country more than whoever's president at the time. We should defend the Constitution of the United States. It's the only thing that separates us from every other form of government that has failed on the face of this earth.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's wisdom.
Perfect. Right.
Jesse, you're up, brother.
All right, and I want to ask you. So you were telling me backstage that you're 65. So I was wondering, has getting older made you more conservative?
Well, you know, as they say that in our culture, Mexicans, we are taught to revere old people.
Right.
But being older doesn't necessarily make you wiser. You know, if you were dumb when you were young, you're just dumber when you're older. But
Dumber.
I do believe that years. Look, I didn't have an opportunity to go to no major, Ivy League school, but I have traveled the world. When I tell you what Baghdad looks like, I've been there physically. I've been to Africa. I have been to every continent, the exception of communist China, but I've been to all these countries. I've had an opportunity to do movies in these countries, and I've had an opportunity to stay there. So nothing teaches you about the world more than to be there, you know? You can see it on TV. It isn't the same. There's something about smelling the poverty in Calcutta. There's something about seeing people died of AIDS in Botswana. And while I was doing the movie Ali, and we travel all over Africa, you know, nothing will make you love this country more than to leave it. You leave this country for 6 months, you can't wait to come home. The things we take for granted here, I think it should be mandatory for students to go to the Job Corps or to go see how
college
other people
kids,
live, so you can appreciate how fortunate we are to have this country.
Amen.
We take warm showers for granted.
Yep.
That's a luxury beyond luxury, you know. We take eating every day. What's the last time you worried about eating? Most Americans worry about eating too much. But in other countries, there are people who are starving, who food is a real concern from the moment they wake up in the morning. When you start taking these things for granted, like it just happens, it doesn't happen. Food doesn't just automatically show up at a liquor store. They took a survey of kids. They said, where do eggs come from? They said the refrigerator. You know, I'm still a farm boy. I own a farm now. And this is why I fought for water rights. You know, if you want to get your vegetables from countries that don't have a health department, that doesn't have to meet that, if you want to do that, it's fine, you know. But I think that America still grows the most food. The San Joaquin Valley alone is the breadbasket of the world. If they were just these environmentalists, they want to eat too. They want to have their salad, but they're not aware that the first person that touches that lettuce is a brown hand whose last name ends with a Z. They're not asking for you to love them, but you shouldn't mistreat these people, you know. The answer to immigration that everybody seems to ignore is to bring back the Bracero program. I know Mexicans. If you give a Mexican the opportunity to work here and live in Mexico, they will do that. The problem is that they've made the border so difficult to cross back and forth that there are people that actually have to make the decision of, if your mother died in Durango, you as much as you can't afford to go there. You know, I think the border should be more porous, but it should be legal. A lot of Mexicans think I'm a traitor because I'm an immigrant, but we came here legally. My father stood for days at the American embassy, for days, and God bless that he was able to bring us over here. You know, I love this country because I came here as a child at 5 years old. I know every day, since I would go visit my primos in Culiacan and the tragedies they're going over there, I know that it is a privilege. It's a gift. And the best thing I can do with whatever's rest for my life, to live a life that adds dignity and respect, not to be some drug dealer, some hoodlum, some gang member. My father didn't bring us here to be gang members. You know, I was more afraid of my father, my mother, of disappointing them than any gang member. And you want to talk tough? I think you know Compton was tough, but we had a father there, we had a mother there. Mexican Americans are suffering from the same thing that I'm sad to say that African Americans are suffering from, the dismantling of the
family.
And that has become largely by the Democrats due to the Johnson administration Great Society program that doesn't allow fathers to live with a mother, keeps them away. Look, a mother, once a child, black, white, brown, once a child, a man child, gets to be 12 years old, no woman's going to be able to control him. You know, you got to raise that child right. Look, I have brought into this world 2 sons. I'm here to tell you that my sons are not gang members. My sons are respectful, because if you raise them right, and as much as I love my kid, I will whoop his ass, because he's not going to embarrass me Like I
Amen.
wasn't going to embarrass my father. My
Amen.
father said, "You walk on that street, you represent me. I'm giving you your name, Rodriguez. It's clean. There's no smudges on it. There's no
Right.
heroin on it. There's no did time in prison on it. And I want you to pass it on to your son and have him keep it clean. Nothing could be more dishonorable than besmirching and embarrassing. Every time I see a criminal, when I see, like, remember the Night Stalker Richard Ramirez? I was ready to kill him myself, because he brought shame upon us. He just
Yeah.
gave them,
Right.
he gave the other side an opportunity to shame us all. I think that the best thing we can do for this country, whether you're an immigrant, whether you're legally or illegally, I'm not here to judge, but if you're here, the best thing we give this country is to add to this country by being decent, law-abiding citizens. If you don't
Right.
like the law, you don't break it, you change it. I'm all for that. March all you want. But this marching and burning, this thing, I hate it. The other day I'm in downtown Los Angeles and I see fires and I said, man, are they protesting for Floyd again? Huh? No, it's
Right.
because the Laker wants. Nothing can be so ludicrous. I think next, I think I'm going to suggest to the mayor that they should put like 2 or 3 old cop cars aside and let the fire department burn them themselves. That way we won't have to have lawbreakers. What I'm saying is ridiculous to celebrate a victory by burning and stealing around. I'm for law abiding. I grew up with some of the meanest, roughest gangs, and like my father used to say, juntos, pero no revueltos. I wanted to set an example by how I live. I'm not here to tell everybody to be like me. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to be me. You can be yourself, but you don't have to loot, vandalize, and tear down this country, because this country is the most precious thing you can pass on to your child.
Amen.
Paul, what do you think about them trying to defund the police and all that?
They're idiots. People who want to defund the police are the first people they're going to call. Who are you
Right.
going to call? I've been in front of some serious, the Bloods, Pyru, Rolling 60s, 18th Street, Florencia, Compton Barrio Tres, all of them. When they bring, the gang members don't bring pride to me. I'm not proud of them. I like the dress. And I think cops who will beat you up because you're dressed a certain way, they should be thrown in jail.
Right.
You should be able
Right.
how you dress is not who you are. But look, defund the police is stupid. Are there bad cops? Hell yes, there's bad cops. I was beat up a lot of times. There's a lot of bad cops, but you don't dismantle the entire cops, because it's the thin blue line is what keeps us from anarchy, from destruction.
Yep. Yep.
I have a gun at home. If I invite you to my home, we're hospitable. If you come to my house without my permission, I'm gonna shoot. I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'll take you out because I know you're there to take me out. See, and it's not a bravado thing. I'm not some kind of macho or whatever. But I'm here to tell you, you come to the Rodriguez house, you better make sure I invited you.
Right.
Otherwise, I'll put you under the ground. It is my castle, and look, this defunding the police is a far leftist communist idea. People don't know, people don't know what communism is. Ask any Cuban, they'll tell you what communism is. I've been to Cuba. Communism sounds great, but it's not going to work. Let me explain it to Raza if they were watching here. Look, communism simply in its most basic form is this, that if I have a car, it's not mine. Anybody can ride my car. And in a perfect world, it's fine. But it doesn't apply to human beings. It doesn't make you work hard. Here in America, you could have a Rolls Royce. You can have a Porsche. I've had several. But if you earn it legally, not by slinging drugs, then you enjoy it. It's as hard as you work. That's as much money as you should be. You want a pool? Hey, I got one. You see it? But you got to earn it. If my father, I got some very, very wealthy familia in Sinaloa who made all their feria chueco. And my father never envied that for us. He never envied that. He goes, lo que viene fácil, se va fácil. You don't appreciate it. My son, Paul, is very wealthy and he's very well off. I never spoiled him to the point of, here's 20 of this and here's that. I never tried to buy his love. His mother raised him right. He grew up. Her and I weren't married, but I was always in his life. He grew up by my standards, by her standards. You know, yeah, we're rich. Yeah, we got money, but it's my money. It ain't yours. It's mine.
Right.
You make your own.
Hey, Rich, you got a light out there? It's getting kind of dark, man. I can see your eyes dark, right now. I know that's what I'm saying. So I can only see your eyes.
Can you see me? Well, it's best to stay in the dark here.
Yeah, come up closer.
Yeah, let me see this. Here,
right.
I'll put a light on me because I know technology.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. All right, go ahead, A-Rod.
There you go.
Yeah, no, brother. I think you're spot on when you're talking about the Latinos. I was born in Delano, and my tío he actually led the march in 1966. His name was Roberto Bustos, and he led the march. And he still goes around by Celia and speaks. And my mom marched. She was born in 1960. She marched. She was a kid, and it's true. Cesar Chavez were alive today, he wouldn't stand for a lot of the things that Latinos are doing, like the sanctuary cities where they go in there, they murder somebody, and they protect them. He was for lawful change. He wanted eventually. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, this whole idea of being in a gang is young kids look up to these, to be tough,
right?
To be out there fighting. You know what tough is? Tough is the guy who loves his family enough to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to a job that breaks his back. That's tough, Any pendejo can have a gun and wind up in prison. Look, I've been to prison. I've done a lot of shows in prison. The toughest vato from La M, I don't care what they tell you, every night they regret being that. They don't even want that for their own kids. They don't want that for their kids because it's a pendejo kind of life. Anything that comes to you easy will leave the same way. The only thing that you can pass on to your kids is get an education, try to invent a better mousetrap, and you can be rich in this country.
Amen.
You can be wealthy in this country. There are legal ways. You don't have to poison your own neighborhood with drugs to be wealthy. I got nothing against marijuana. I'll tell you right now, I'll smoke a blunt here and there, but I won't drive and risk your life. There are rules. There are rules that you could abide by, I mean, we live in a country where marijuana is legal for all. I smoked a joint in front of a cop I own a piece of the condo room. It was fun to smoke a joint right in front of a couple of the police officer. How are you? That all became because people illegal, whatever you want to do. Look, Benito Juárez, a great indigenous president of Mexico, said it best. I've never heard it better. El respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. Respect to others' rights is peace. That's what we've forgotten. Look, the Republican Party isn't perfect, but our opponents will try to say, "Oh, you're going to support a racist. You're going to support." They don't have facts, so they get personal. I've been called a bandido. I've been called an idiot. But you know what? I don't worry about it. I know I'm well read. I know I speak in 2 languages, and I know of what I speak of. And if you want to debate me on the issues, let's do it. Calling me a pendejo, a vendido, a guy who a sellout, those are things that don't apply to me. I know who I am. The great thing about being 65 is I don't give a shit. What are you gonna do to me? I've done all I'm gonna do. I was famous in my day. I made my money. You talk all you want about me. Go out and get your own. Look. I think that the best thing we can do is to live it. Don't talk about it. Live it. Don't tell me what you could have been. Tell me what you are now. Tell me what kind of person you are. Tell me how you raise your kids. Do they follow the precepts? Were they paying attention? I never told my son be famous and be this. He did it on his own. He did it legally. And if your daughter or your son, they don't have to be. Being rich is overrated. You can live a very comfortable life if your kids are educated.
Amen.
They go to school. I don't care what you do. If you do it well, there will be money and success in it.
Yep.
I mean, I have much respect for somebody who starts selling tacos and later owns King Taco and becomes a millionaire.
King Taco.
Those are my heroes. Those are the people we should admire. Not the people who's flashy, who made all his millions. by poisoning and killing people with the trash they bring in? No. And when Donald Trump says that that Mexico is bringing the best murderers, the best rapists, I can disagree with him. I can disagree. It doesn't mean that I'm going to sway the other way, because
Right.
the other man is a plagiarist. He's not. America does not deserve a man who's. And let's face it, he's not all there. He's not there.
Right.
But the left is so adamant. They want to win at all costs, that they would jeopardize this country to put a man whose mental capacity isn't even there, just so they can say they win. No, you know what? If that's what it takes, then I would rather have someone who has compassion and someone who defends the ideal of this country, which is the Constitution of the United States, should not be altered. I think this country was terribly altered in 9/11. We were asleep at the wheel, and they changed it on us. The Fourth Amendment, they changed it on us. We got to fight back, because what we want here is we want to leave this country. I'm 65. I don't know how many years I got. I would like to think that my stay on this planet, I left it a little better than I found.
Right.
And that's going to be very, very tough, you know. You live by example, man. You live by example. Talk is cheap. Don't tell me where you're from. Tell me where you're at now. Huh? Are you in jail? What are your kids all about?
Wow.
That's it. The most important job in the world is left to amateurs. Being a parent is the most important job in the world. If you're going to be responsible for having a whole bunch of kids, I tell my African-American friends, say it loud, you're black and you're proud and all that. Okay, is it working for you? Fine. Black lives matter. Hey, you know what? My life matters.
Yep.
I got a new movement I want to start. The movement is my life matters, and we believe in mind your own business. If you're a decent person, everything else will take care of itself,
Yeah.
And that's what people forgot. I'm not going to say that your life matters more than me. What? God didn't create you alone.
Right.
And I see a lot of raza marching for this. I feel sad for African Americans, because they could have picked a better hero. Look, George Floyd, what happened to him, nobody can defend that. That cop will go through the justice system, and he should meet the harshest punishment available. But making this man a hero is ignoring the fact that how he lived his life.
Exactly.
Amen.
Tell the woman that he held hostage, pregnant woman that he held hostage at gunpoint in her house. I feel sorry for my African American friends, because they're picking the wrong hero.
They're putting him next to.
There are plenty of African Americans that I can get behind. Dr. King. There are plenty of hardworking African Americans I get behind. I can't get behind someone who has no job and is spend the majority of his life in crime. I'm sorry. If that
I believe
high on drugs when he died too.
Exactly. Look, Rodney King, right? What happened to him? Those cops should have gone to jail, should have meet justice. There is injustice in this world, but you change it within the system, not throwing the system away. Look, Rodney King. If Rodney King wasn't drunk, and if he wasn't driving fast, he probably got home, been cool. It isn't. It's an old Mexican saying: "Dime con quién andas, y te diré quién eres." Tell me who you're hanging out with, and I'll tell you who you become.
Right.
Exactly.
You got to influence people, not by talking to them, be like me. It's by being you, and them looking at your success. I never got into this business to be rich or to think I'm better than anybody else. I got into this business because I needed the money. It's the only thing I know how to do is talk shit. That's all I know how to do. And it's worked out for me. But I believe that God gave us all a gift. God, if you believe in religion or destiny or your genes, I believe that all of us do something that can contribute. And if you contribute in a positive way, then we make things better. All my friends who are going to vote for Biden, deep down inside, they know he's not the perfect candidate. They know. And I'm just telling you, I'm making this challenge. If Biden wins, I salute the flag, and he's my president. Why can't they do the same if our candidate wins?
Trump derangement syndrome. That's what it is.
Yeah. They got Trump derangement. And they put your friendship online. But let me tell you this to my best friends and to many other, I used to sell out theaters. A lot of them don't come because I make no secret. I'm not ashamed to tell you what I am. Oh well, you're missing out on the show. I happen to think I'm still one of the funniest vocals out there. Period.
Me too.
You want
Me
to see
too.
that?
You
You're
have
a
me
legend.
rolling. You have
You're
me
a
rolling.
legend, bro. You're a legend to
No?
us.
And if I have to sacrifice that, only 3 people come to see my show. And by the way, I'm not there when I do my show. I'm not political. I'm not Mencia. I'm not these other guys. I'm
Thank
not
you.
trying to change you. I'm there to entertain you. You pay money to see me, you're gonna laugh, right? You're not gonna walk out of there going, I guess I better be Republican. That doesn't even come up. You know, I talk about life. I talk about things. I talk about things that I've seen. I've seen a lot, more than your average Joe. Yo soy un gallo muy correteado. Por todo el mundo he visto, he estado yo ahí. Hablo el idioma de mis padres y también de mi país adoptivo. ¿Qué más quieres? Así. And when I'm gone, I hope that my children can be proud of me, you know. I hope my children can say, that was my dad. My dad fought for water rights. My dad, he stood firme on this. He didn't wishy-washy. He didn't say, well, what's the crowd want? Yeah. No, you know what? I respect somebody that believes, and their beliefs, even if they're wrong, they believe I would defend the right for you to be wrong. That's what makes America. That's democracy. Not, hey, if you don't believe like I believe, then you're not my friend.
You're racist.
You're a racist.
You're racist. Yeah.
You're a racist. Yeah, okay.
No freedom of speech.
Then you know what? Let's just say that I've read more books than you have. Let's just say that my eyes were open. Oh,
right.
I once was lost.
Now I'm found.
I can see.
Right.
Amazing grace.
Yes.
We gotta love this country by our actions, not by talking shit. That anybody could do that. Trust me, I'm one of the greatest shit talkers there is. That's how I make a living. Walk the walk.
Paul, you talked about. I think as we start closing up here, you talked about on an interview. You talked about how your dad. He said something about not being able to leave you guys an inheritance. But what he did leave you, and I think it's a perfect way to close out today, because you talked about leaving something better. You share that story with everybody and talk about your dad who brought you here as an immigrant, did it the right way. How much did he love this country, and what did he say to you?
My father was a great patriot. When I got drafted, my mama wanted me to go to Mexico, as any mother would, Vietnam War was going on. My father said, no, it don't work like that. You're going to go. And you might die. And we're going to miss you. So thanks a lot, Dad, for being so patriotic.
We're going to miss you.
But he instilled in me a great love for the ideals of this country.
Right.
I know that we're all divided, I'm very proud to be Mexican American.
Right.
But I think it's wrong. I think it should be American of Mexican heritage.
There you go.
Until we can put this country first. The first election that I remember was John Kennedy. I was going to Barton Hill Elementary in San Pedro. And it was a magnet school, not because of intelligence. They had magnets there, and I went there. I remember when President Kennedy was killed. And they let me go. I didn't speak English all that well. They let me go home, and I walked into my house, and my mother, I remember clear as day, she was washing dishes with this apron, long black hair. And she said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Mom, they sent," I told her in Spanish, they sent me from school. They said that the president died. I don't know what the president was or anything. My mama turned on her little AM radio, and it was on all the news. It said, President John Kennedy has just been shot in Dallas. She wept. She cried like she knew him, because she believed in his speech.
Right.
And the speech that he made, where he said, not to ask what this country can do for you, you're supposed to ask what you can do for your country, how you can make it better. John Kennedy challenged us to greater things.
Yeah.
John Kennedy's speech is fantastic. Maybe Joe Biden should plagiarize that, because he said, this generation has it tough. All the easy things have been done.
Right.
Easy things have been done. This generation is left with nothing but hard, difficult, and impossible things. But he believed that this generation can do that. And we went to the moon. We haven't been back. We're not going forward. We're stalemate, which is even worse than going backwards. At least you're moving.
Right.
I've always said that if Neil Armstrong would have landed on the moon and said, "Man, there's some fine hyenas up here," Southwest would have been having daily flights. That's what motivates men, you know. But the thing to say is this, in closing, I am nothing. I am just someone who's grateful to this country. I know that my father gave me a great gift, a gift that as a young man, I'd be willing to die for. Hopefully not kill some others and live. This country and its ideals are worth defending. It's more important than all the friends that I could possibly have who can call me a racist or a white guy or supporting. I disagree with Mr. Trump on a lot of things. But I weigh both things. Is he a lesser of two evils? You can call him that. But he has brought this country to a point where they're so divided. But don't believe the hype. I think the news media is so interested in winning, not in what's good for this country, just so they can say they won. Look, if we don't defend this country, where are we going to go to? Canada? Right. Maybe. It's too cold for me. I like California. You know, we have to. The real smart people who should be president are afraid to run for office because of the scrutiny and the ideals that we hold them up to. Look, I believe you should respect women, but I don't care what Clinton does in his own spare time, as long as he's taking care of the economy and he's running. That speaks to perhaps his vices. But look, this country is the only bastion, and we're falling behind. You know, when they say this is the greatest country in the world, I don't know if you've seen that speech by Jeff Daniels. I'll just close with this. Don't say you love this country. Act like you love this country by preserving the ideals of the founding fathers. You know, Congress shall make no law.
Yep.
To take your arms. Free speech should never be abridged. Even my idiot friends, I disagree with you. I think they're idiots in what they're espousing to. But I would fight for them to say that. I would fight for Nazis and Klansmen to espouse their hatred out there because they have the right to speak. Unless you're willing to have to fight for the right of anything, any ludicrous idea to be spoken out in the, you know, it is only when things hide in the shadows, another great speech that the president said, that they fester. Right. Because I think the vast majority of this country are good, decent people who believe in the ideals and not in the color of our skin. I happen to think that I got lucky by being Mexican, but you know, somebody had to do it, and I'm glad it was me.
Yeah.
It doesn't diminish me respecting Asians, African Americans. It doesn't. Unfortunately, they can't give me the same privilege that they didn't fight for.
Right.
To let me be wrong.
Right.
I let you be wrong. But I do believe that the vast majority of Americans think like us. They go past the color of the skin. They believe that this country, it's not just a white country. In actuality, it is becoming more ethnic. But the color is the most insignificant part of you. I believe, like Dr. King said, it is the content of your character.
Amen.
You know, I don't care who my children marry. Let them love each other and not purple kids. You know, I just want them to be good citizens. Let them learn how to read and let them not destroy this country, but with Antifa and communism and all that shit that has never worked.
Socialism.
America's still the shining bright light on that hill. And I hope it stays like this for however long I live, and my shoulders should defend it likewise.
Yeah, and it's
Paul,
so great that all those people don't leave. They hate it and all that stuff, but yet they won't leave.
They're here. Yeah. Look, they should travel. I've been to every continent, and I'm telling you, there's some nice places to live, but I have never, ever said to myself, God, I'd like to live here. No, I can't wait to hop on that plane and come home. Because this is home. And for all these people who are racist, who think that the Mexican Americans are just coming here illegal, let me tell you something. Los Angeles is not a Scandinavian name. Our ancestors were here long enough to name the place. This land has my blood. My ancestors were here first. It doesn't make them right, and it doesn't make me depreciate Armenians or other people who come and love liberty. If we love liberty, you and I could be brothers, as if from the same mother, freedom.
Yeah. All right, well, Well, Paul, tell us anything else you wanted before you go. Like, you have any movies coming?
Cholo Zombies.
And you have any movies coming out or any shows coming up or anything you want to talk about?
24th, Cholo Zombies, a small little independent movie that I think will make you laugh. And Clifford the Big Red Dog. I start another picture November 4th. I'm just going to keep, I'm just going to slowly fade away. I've had my day in the sun. Let everybody else, let other young Latinos. I think Hollywood has to remember we're more numerous than African Americans. Hell, we are African Americans. Latinos are the only race on this planet that come in every genre. There are Asian Latinos, there are Black Latinos, and yet we are the least represented in the movies. We're the least represented on television. I mean, God bless African Americans. I wish I knew how they do it. How many more black shows there can be? More. Hey, you know what? We have to learn from them and be more proactive. I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to convince these executives and these networks that there should be a Chico and the Man. There should be. We want to see ourselves. Why aren't we represented?
Even like our show right here, our Lexit show, man.
I've been told many times. When I pitch for them, they always go, Latinos will watch black programs. No, we will watch programs. We watch black programs and white programs, but we'd like to see ourselves. We like to see ourselves on television. We're the least represented, and we're more numerous. Ask the last census. We are more numerous. To call us a minority is to ignore the fact that in about 14 of the biggest cities in America, you can't throw a rock in any direction and not hit a guy named Jesus on the head. We are here. We are not coming from anywhere. We're here, ready to receive any other country. You come to this country legally, you're a citizen. I respect you. Welcome.
Amen.
And my kid can date your daughter. Hopefully she's good looking. You know what I'm saying?
Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
You inspired so many people. So many people. The comments are blowing up.
This is my favorite. We've done so many shows, and I'll be honest, this is the most informative show.
Of us watching, but I do believe this. The truth does not have an expiration date. We're not on a milk carton. The truth is the truth today and tomorrow. And the truth is, there's only one way to love this country, and that's to respect its laws. You don't like the laws? I'm down. Change them. Change them through our legal system. I don't think you do us any favor by burning up somebody's business who's worked very, very hard to get there. And you're some kind of idiot with a rock and some ideals. That doesn't work for me. We have to defend. Are there bad cops? Hell yeah, there's bad cops. We need to weed them out and throw them the hell out. We can't get rid of the police. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters? Come on now. Hey, thank you. It was nice to be here.
Thank you.
Slowly but
surely. It was an honor, Paul. It was an honor. Thank you so much.
They're coming our way because what? Because we love this country more than we love Trump, more than we love anything. We love the Constitution and its ideals. That's what you swore on when I wore the uniform to the Constitution. And the day anybody doesn't swear to that, he's my enemy. And look out! I'm ready to fight for that. Not for some stupid gang.
Exactly.
Bring shame upon
yes, sir.
Exactly. Well, thank you, and thank you everybody for watching us. And see you next week. And just thank you again, Paul. You're a legend. We love you, man. It's awesome.
I'm just old, but I'm proud to be. Que les vaya bonito. Gracias a todos.
All right, guys.
Thank you. God bless you.